Now let's go over some Google terminology, and this is going to be for beginners. If you've been doing SEO for a while, you will know this, but for beginners, it's good to understand so that you're not confused. So there's such a thing that's called Googlebot. Very confusing. Sometimes it's called a spider, sometimes it's called a crawler. It's all the same thing. It's not a bot, it's basically just software. And the software crawls the web, and we'll get into what's crawling exactly. But it basically goes from page to page to page to page and sees what's on this page. That's crawling, discovering every page on the internet and every page on your website. That's what Google does when it discovers a new page, meaning when it crawls a new page, then it does something called indexing. That means it's adding that page that it just discovered or that it just crawled, it's the same thing, to its database. And then your question might be, well, when does the page rank? So the page is crawled, the page is indexed. When does it rank? That's up to Google. The ranking is independent. Of course, crawling and indexing has to happen before ranking. If they don't crawl your page and they don't index your page can never rank because they don't know about your page. So crawling in and indexing, that's just Google's process of discovering your page. But once they discover, their algorithm, by their own magic rules, decides where is this page going to rank? Is it going to rank at all in the search results? When is it going to rank? How high is it going to rank? That's up to Google. And the crawling and indexing is a prerequisite to it. If you're confused about crawling, let me show you what happens. So let's say you're on any page, any website. What Google really does is they go like view source, they look at the page source, and they look at all the links. So for example, if I scroll down, they see, oh, here's a link. And they put it on their to-do list, and eventually they go and visit that link. And so they take out all this HTML that they don't need. But as soon as they see something, oh, well, this is a link. Okay, we're going to check this out later. This is a link. They're going to check this out later. You see, all the other HTML they throw away. But the stuff that's links, they're like, well, this could be a page. And then they check, do we already have this in our database? Meaning, do we already have this indexed, or is it new? If it's new, they go and they look at it, and then they take the HTML just like this, they examine the HTML, and then they crawl the new pages. Now, one question is, how often, this is important, how often does Google re-crawl a page? There's billions of pages on the internet. How often does it revisit them? And actually, it used to be slow, but now if you make a change, they'll probably know about it within the day. Sometimes within seconds or minutes. Their algorithm is really good at checking for updates. But will your changes show up right away? That's not the same thing. Sometimes even though they are aware of the changes you're making, it's still up to them, and it takes longer often for the changes you make to actually show up and be reflected in actual search results. So now you understand what the Googlebot is, what crawling is, how crawling happens, what indexing is, and how all that relates to your pages showing up in Google search results.